wonderful co-host, Audrey Lynch.
Good afternoon.
Hello, it's Monday again.
It's absolutely a beautiful Monday here in Miramichi. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Going up to +8 this afternoon.
We'll take it. We'll take
Loving Mother Nature.
I know.
I'm not complaining at all.
No, Judy was tied up with some other things today, so she'll be back next week, and we're excited to have her back. We miss her, of course.
Yes, definitely.
So we'll kick it off with your very positive quote of the day.
Yes, I came up with something. I had shared this on Facebook just the other day, and I quickly, when I realized it was my turn for the quote, to scroll back and find it because I really, really, really thought this was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I want everyone to know to love your life. Take pictures of everything. Tell people that you love them and talk to random strangers. Do things that you're scared to do. So many of us die and no one remembers a thing we did. So take your life and make it the best story in the world and don't waste it.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
It encompasses every little aspect and every little part of it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, life is not easy.
No.
You know what I mean? It has its ups and downs, but all in all, love your life and where you're at in the many stages. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny because people often ask me, because I'm lucky enough that I travel quite a bit, and I do that on purpose because I really want to be able to experience other things and have those memories.
Right.
But people often say, well, you post your whole trip. I'm like, yeah, because then every year it pops back up into my memories.
I know.
And I get to relive that moment, right? So
Exactly.
I take a ton of pictures whenever I can because I like to look back on that stuff, and it's not living back there. It's just, I remember that feeling of when I took that picture, what happened in that moment, or, that memory that I have with my parents or with my friends when we did some, wild and crazy stuff. And so, 2020, and I said it, at the beginning of this year, is really about living my life well this year in a lot of ways. And I've signed up to do a couple of things that scare me already.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And so because and they scare me because they're going to challenge me, and they're,
That's right.
it's not like scary like I'm like a couple of years ago when I hung off the CN Tower when I thought I was going to die, but that's okay.
Yeah.
These are things that I really want to, experience and continue to be involved in my community because it matters to me when I get to volunteer and be part of things that happen in the area. So, so I love that quote for that reason because life is never exactly the way you want it to be.
Well, no, that's just it. And I was just recently telling my youngest child this morning, because she's always taking pictures and videos and different things like that. And I'm like, you know what? I really love Facebook for that reason and how Facebook has grown in that sense. I said, don't do it for the friends that you have or to show anything. Post it for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, because in a year or 4 years from now, when those memories pop up and you can go, aw, do it for yourself and yourself only.
Yeah.
And that's what part of it that'll make, you love your life.
Well, and then, even the tough stuff, because not too long ago, so in December 31st, 2015, I closed my restaurant. And I remember, that was the end of the world at that time for me. It was such a tough decision to make. And it's funny because it pops up every year on December 31st, right? That's one of my memories.
Yeah.
But this year I looked back on it and I thought, you know what? So much has happened since then, and I survived it. I survived it, and my life is thriving, and I've got some wonderful things going on in my life, and Mom is doing much better now. She's feeling much better. She's feeling much stronger, and so although it was such a sad day in my life,
right,
I'm still glad that it's in those social media memories because now I can look at it with the perspective and say, yeah, that truly sucked in every way.
Yes.
But
exactly.
Here I am 4 years later, and I'm okay.
It makes you stronger.
Yeah,
it really
absolutely.
does. It really does. We have a great show lined up by here.
Oh my gosh, we got so much going on.
So
but you know
much.
what? There was so much on the weekend. So
There
much
was.
happening on the weekend.
There was.
So I was the MC for the Women's Emergency Center Gala, and I UMC'd that last year.
Yeah.
So I got to MC
Gala.
this year. Yeah, it was. How
was it?
It was a packed room.
Course.
And it was a great event, and Mayor Lordon joined me that night, and there was so much going on that day. It was like I don't even know how anybody has time to get bored in the city because there was so much going on that day.
There is.
But it was a packed house. There was some great money raised for a wonderful organization, and it was a real honor. I love to MC events because I love being part of making those
positive
things happen.
things.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly. It was a great cause, like you said. And Miramichi pulls things together like no other.
Well, and the board of directors, they do all the hard work, right? The volunteers
Right.
do all the hard work in pulling those events together. But also on Saturday was the Miramichi Youth House Coldest Night of the Year.
That's right.
Right?
That's
and they did a walk this year, which was very well attended from everything that I've seen on social media. And also, it was the Kinsman Trivia Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and all of that, the money raised for that evening is going to ALS research. So, if you really
Go.
There was no reason to be bored this weekend.
No, none at all. I spent the entire weekend painting. There's probably still some paint in my hair, broke a few nails, but I started a project, and my husband started. We started it last weekend for our youngest daughter, and I was bound and determined
that was
this
it,
weekend I was off, and it was getting done, and so that's what I spent the weekend doing.
I don't envy you.
No,
I don't love painting.
No, once you get going, it's actually somewhat therapeutic to do it, but it's a lot of work. I envy all of those carpenters out there or painters who renovate and do that stuff. It's not an easy job. No. I know why they get paid the big bucks.
Yeah. No, and I understand it too. Like, it's not something that that really I would want to do because I don't have the skill, right? So then I wouldn't do it well, and then I'd have to pay someone to come fix what I did.
Oh, yeah. Physically, it's a thing. It's physically to paint and up over your head and stuff. It's not an easy job.
No,
it's not.
No, I can understand.
Definitely. Well, but it's done now.
So talking a little bit about the weather. So right now we're having a fantastic day.
We are.
And it's funny. We've always talked about for years now about global warming, and I think we need to start changing that term and go more with climate change, right? Because although we're talking about global warming, really it's a change in climate because some places are colder.
That's right.
And we've had wicked storms across the world that have been debilitating, right?
Oh, yes.
And it's not just like today, and it's going to be +8, and I'll take it.
Yes.
I will enjoy it.
We're not complaining about our winter this year at all, but unfortunately, other areas, other countries are seeing devastating weather issues.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
It's not nice. And like you said, climate change is a thing. It's real, and we really have to open our eyes and take notice and start doing things to save.
It's hard to wrap your head around, but I mean, it's the evolution of our species has, although we have progressed so much over the last 100 years and whatever, with that comes consequences, and I think we're seeing some of those, and we need to take some of that action so that we can reverse it, halt it, slow it down, whatever it is that we need to do, but
for future generations.
Yeah, absolutely, and but I mean, I'll take it so that we can melt some of that ice in my driveway, because every time I leave the house, I'm quite concerned I'm going to end up flat on my.
Well, that's the only thing. I love that it's warm out, but we have so much snow. The melting will be there. The temperature will drop, and it'll be a sheet of ice. So be careful.
Absolutely.
Be careful.
I think we have one more day of warm weather, and then we've got.
And
we're
then
going
it
to get
swings
some
back
snow.
around the other way. March break is coming. The kids are going to be on March break next week.
Any big plans?
No, my youngest daughter, who's still in high school, so it's a big March break for her. She's actually registered for a football camp.
Ooh.
She wants to get a head start on that.
Here in the region or outside?
No, right here. Yeah,
Wow.
at James M. Hill. Yeah,
Good
a couple
for her.
of days. So she wants to check that out and fine-tune her skills with the football, and hoping that it transfers over to her rugby.
Good for
training.
her.
So, yeah, she's looking forward to that. I'm sort of a little surprised that she's actually going to drag herself out of bed in the morning when she doesn't have to.
Yes.
She finally gets to sleep in. But a couple of days she's going to get up and she's going to check that out.
Good for her.
Yeah, definitely. So,
do you have a favorite March break memory with your kids?
I was never, unfortunately, especially the last 14 years working, March break was never something where we packed up and took the kids and did anything. Maybe when they were little and I was a stay-at-home mom. But the couple of trips that I've taken the kids on or done, it's never been around March break because, unfortunately, that's really expensive.
Oh,
to
yes.
go anywhere or do anything on March
and
break.
it's hard to get the time away, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But to all those who are off, to the teachers that are off, enjoy. Those who are taking trips, enjoy.
Absolutely.
Have a
Please
great time
take
off.
in some sun for me.
Yes. Bring some back even, maybe?
That would be okay.
What else is happening?
Well, and it's interesting because we lived in Ontario for so long, right? So our March
Right.
break was always a different time than here.
Oh, right.
So we would get, and Mom always said the same thing because Mom was a teacher her whole career. We would come home, and then when we went back, the snow was gone, not in Ottawa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because our March break was always the second week in March, so March break here was the first week, and then
okay.
Ottawa was the second week.
Nice.
And then we'd go back, and there'd be like no snow. It was great. So that's my biggest thing is I would come to 14 feet of snow here, and then go back to
I
none.
might have to move to Ottawa.
Well, yeah, I was just there actually
No
not
snow,
that long ago. It was a good trip. I had a great trip.
Nice.
So some breaking news actually that happened right before we came on the air.
Huge.
Yeah, is Harvey Weinstein, doesn't matter, was found guilty of yes. So what launched truly the Me Too movement.
Yes.
And so he was on trial in New York, and he was found guilty of criminal sex act and rape.
Finally.
Imagine.
Finally, all those voices, all those women who had come forward to,
Yeah.
unite together and tell their story of something that, was very traumatic that happened to them.
Well, and I can't, the courage that it took for, for
Huge.
those women to come forward, because I mean, he was and for decades an incredibly powerful figure in Hollywood. He could make or break, your career. And he felt entitled, obviously, to do and say whatever he wanted to at that point.
And take advantage.
Yeah. So it really had to have been incredibly life-altering and difficult for those women to come forward at the time. So this is really the first, one of the first. I know Bill Cosby was also convicted, but one of the first major figures to be convicted in the Me Too movement, or as part of the Me Too movement, and hopefully we'll see a very long prison sentence for him.
That goes along with that. Exactly. That's just it.
But you know what I find difficult though that I've seen lately. So there's women who have come forward, and Rose McGowan is one of those. She was a big actress, especially when I was in younger,
right?
And and she's been a very vocal advocate for the Me Too movement. But I struggle a little bit, because it seems to be lately I've seen her come out against some other women who are advocating in their own way, and her saying that they're not doing enough. And I think we need to, and specifically I'll talk a little bit about the Oscars. Natalie Portman had worn a cape over her gown that had women directors embroidered in the.
That's right.
Right?
Inside the lining of her.
And and so people had said, "Oh, what's that all about?" And she talked about it. And so that was her platform. That was her way of doing what she felt was,
and voicing her.
And so Rose McGowan came out very strongly against her and said, it's not enough. You're not brave. You're not doing enough, and you need to do more. And I struggle with that because you know what, everybody's got to do their thing,
their own level.
Yeah, what they can do at that time. And could Natalie Portman do better? Of course, we all could.
Yeah, we all could be doing more. We all could be doing better.
Yeah, but you know what? But at least she was doing something. And I think we need to sometimes acknowledge a little bit more of an effort is an effort, and we need to. Not everybody's going to. Do everything in the same way.
No.
And Rose McGowan has found her way, and she's doing everything that she needs to do for her own well-being.
Right.
But we need to support those who may not be able to do as much.
No, you don't have to be screaming at the top of your lungs
Not always,
to voice your opinion and to
Yeah.
go against things that you feel are unjust and wrong.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So the coronavirus continues to be an issue.
Huge. Still a huge issue
Yeah,
here.
it's horrifying across the world.
Across the world.
Yeah.
It's touching many countries now,
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
And the last thing I saw was there was a passenger on a flight from Montreal to Vancouver who has tested positive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not good.
From Montreal. So
Yeah.
where were they before?
Air Canada flight, yeah.
But where were they before they were in Montreal?
I don't know that.
We don't know
yeah,
that.
no,
okay.
I don't know
okay.
that. But so Air Canada flight, so he flew across the country. Yeah.
A plane full of people in
Of course.
enclosed space.
Well, and I mean, we
breathing
all
the same air.
sneeze and cough.
That's a long flight.
It is a long flight. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. But they have reported out of China though that the deaths are decreasing.
Okay.
Which is good.
Okay.
So we're seeing a little bit of traction, and improvement there. But I mean, it's starting to spread though to other countries, right?
Well, that cruise ship was a huge issue. They were thinking by not letting the passengers off the cruise ship that they would be able to. It would be a sense of containment, but unfortunately, it became more of a breeding ground.
Yeah, because
Over
I mean,
200 people.
yeah,
came
because they
down
were
with
trapped
it.
together.
They were trapped together.
Yeah.
As opposed to being able to. So I believe that they are now off the boat.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, and there was a couple. I did see their little interview, because they were, even though they got off the boat, they were put in quarantine in Ottawa, if I'm not mistaken, and they spoke to them, and they talked a little bit about their experience, and it's scary.
Oh,
it's
I can't
very
even
scary.
imagine. Yeah,
definitely.
There's a couple of big events coming up, especially there's one this weekend here in the Miramichi region. The Random Night of Kindness, happening at the Vogue this Saturday night, I believe.
Yeah.
So fantastic, and this is second year or third year? Second year?
I feel like this is the second year that they've done something this big. They've done smaller little things along the way, kind of thing. But this is another big concert.
Yeah,
music.
check it out.
It's going to be fantastic. You're not going to want to miss this.
No.
You're really going to. And the proceeds are going to this family who has a young child who is not well.
Yep.
And for their medical expenses and things like that. So this is a really, really great cause. It's going to be an awesome night. Great music.
Oh, yeah.
It's
it's always
fun.
a good time.
Fun.
Yep.
Definitely.
And Diamond Diva Dinner is coming up March 28th. Judy is the MC, as she always is, and it's a fantastic event. I know the tickets went on sale. So you want to check that out.
Definitely.
And then St. Patrick's Day is coming soon.
I know, and it's not something I think of as a big deal, but I'm not Irish. That might be why.
Yeah.
But you
totally
are that girl.
Irish Acadian, I am.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Legion branch number 3 will be putting on their corned beef and cabbage. Couldn't even get it all out on the 15th on that Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big deal here in Miramichi. I'm not going to lie. I think people really take it in, whether they're Irish or not. It's
everybody's Irish
for a day.
For
a day. No, that's just
for a
it.
day.
No,
Yeah.
I saw some great, because we had the Oscars were a couple of weeks ago, and of course I sat up bug-eyed watching everything, and one of the movies that didn't make it into the awards category or even nominated, but I saw Will Smith's movie Gemini Man.
Did you like it?
I did actually like it. A little on the sci-fi kind of thing. I love Will Smith anyway. I find he's a great actor. It was a very shoot 'em up kind of movie, very male-oriented, if you want to say in that sense. But the sci-fi part of it, the scientific, and the cloning is why I watched it. It interests me, and the way they did the graphic design with all the computer generation and stuff like that was really neat, because there was a younger version of him. And
I would like to look younger.
Yes, I know. Well, at first I couldn't understand why it looked like Will Smith had gray hair, and then when I realized that there was younger versions of him throughout the movie, I was like, okay,
we're going
I
to break.
It.
Oh, are we? Yeah. Don't go too far.
No.
Grab a coffee.
Okay.
We'll see you back in a couple minutes with our fantastic guests. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, with my fantastically beautiful, wonderful co-host, Audrey Lynch.
Stop.
Well, listen, we got to do it. We got to do
have
it.
to,
You
yes.
got to do it, because you know what? We don't tell each other in general that enough.
No, exactly.
And Judy's off today, but she will be back next week. We can't wait to have her
Yes.
back and have all three of us back together again. But we have a wonderful friend of the show joining us.
Right.
You've been with us a couple of times now,
Yes,
Jimmy. We're
thanks.
glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, so we have Jimmy MacKinley joining us, a wonderful comedian in our region. And for those who haven't gotten to know you yet, which there can't be many, there's probably two.
My parents definitely know I'm a comedian.
Yes.
They
Really,
paid,
I'm shocked.
They paid for a 4-year science degree. So
Yes.
they
So
definitely
they're absolutely-
actually my mom would say 5-year degree.
Yeah, mine
5
took
years.
a little bit longer too, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So tell everybody about you.
Yeah, born and raised in Newcastle, not far from the studio, in a hospital. And
No.
yes, indeed. Yeah, went to university in Fredericton, lived there for many, many years, started doing stand-up in 2011, I believe, late 2011, and haven't stopped yet.
Wow.
How
indeed.
did you?
How does that, how does that
Like,
even
because
start?
that's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
How did you decide that this
It
is what
still
I
is
want?
terrifying to me as well.
I'm going to stand up in stage in front of all these people
Yes.
and risk it all.
And by the way, I'm glad that I didn't wear as much wool as I did last year.
Yeah,
I literally, Judy asked me a question last year, and I literally evaporated
Yes.
on set and went into a vent.
It can get warm.
It can get warm.
As Patty Quinn will say, he was sweating Crisco.
Yeah, he vaporized, I believe, on
Yes,
set
absolutely,
one day. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm no longer with us. No, he's fine. I don't know. I just was always interested in performing, and finally worked up the courage to do it. I've been writing for many years prior to 2011. but just never had a venue to really, emote.
Did you do theater in high school?
I
and
did
things
not.
like that?
No, I was way too
you're
shy.
kidding.
Yeah, I do some acting as well now, but I wanted to do it after I left Miramichi. I felt I was too shy to do. I was like, oh well, the theater arts, they're
Go
good.
where nobody knows you. If you're going to stand up on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's a horrible idea as well. Nothing really worked for
then you
many
got no
years.
support in the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah, it's definitely a different kind of gig to do. I was paid with fiddleheads one night. So yeah,
okay.
exactly. Not with monetary cash, not with Canadian funds, with the bag of fiddleheads in Moncton. So it was.
Was that your first one?
That was my 5th gig, I believe. And I said, well,
Really?
why didn't you just give me the money that you paid for the fiddleheads?
Yeah.
He said, well, I already bought the bag of fiddleheads.
Right.
Then he told me how to cook them. So it was.
With lots of butter.
They were very
Yeah.
disgusting.
Did
as
he
well.
give you the butter to cook
He said, just put butter, vinegar, salt, and pepper on them, and they'll taste good. I was like, anything will literally taste
It's
good.
good if you put that
I
on.
would
With
eat
all
this-
of the above.
I would eat this mug if it was doused in
Laced.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Laced
No.
with chocolate.
Yeah, that's just it. So tell us a little bit of that. So that's the history of how you got started.
Yes,
So then when
in a
did things
nutshell.
start? Yeah. So when did things start taking off after that?
I was fortunate enough to do a little tour with Jerry D from
Okay.
TV's Mr. D, so I got a little bit of recognition from that. Also, I did a national broadcast with CBC's episode of Laugh Out Loud.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Oh,
guy
nice.
opened up a few doors. So yeah, and I've been very fortunate to do lots of private gigs, parties, corporate events, Christmas parties.
Do you have an agent?
I
have your
do
own?
have an agent for
Okay.
acting. So I do have an
Oh.
agent for acting located in Dartmouth.
Oh, yes.
So occasionally I will do an audition. I do lots of auditions. Occasionally I do get something, but
Well, you got something very famous. Not that long
We
ago.
have to talk about what you did.
oh yes,
You did do a taping. You did do some acting, though
I
it has
hosted
not
bingo
aired.
one night. Is
You
that what
did.
you're talking
I know,
about?
and you were
Yeah.
fantastic.
I was horrible at that.
Yeah.
My mother was home playing it, and they won't have
she
me
lost,
back. Yeah,
yeah.
she
No,
lost
she
that
lost.
night. Yeah,
So
she
then
blamed
you
me.
blamed
yeah,
me.
she wanted me to rig it for her, but
Yeah. So you were on an episode of Trailer Park Boys.
I was, yes. It's not out yet,
No.
so it's a new series. I remember when I got the gig, I was eating soup at O'Donoghue's, and my agent's like, "Don't tell anyone." I was like, "I told the bartender."
I told everybody.
I told them. I hugged Dave McLean.
Yeah, of course
he's like,
you
"Get
did.
away from me."
Yeah.
Get some
Well,
chicken-
who wouldn't want to hug Dave?
Yeah, get a beer and some chicken wings into you, he said. But I did, yeah. So I filmed that one episode of season 1 of the new series that's taking
Okay.
place entirely in fictional Sunnyvale Penitentiary.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can't say much about my
Yeah.
character, but it's an
No.
antagonistic role to the Trailer Park Boys. And that was filmed in October of last year.
Wow.
And hoping to see it at some point this year.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
It was
itself?
it was so much fun. We got to I got to check off a bunch of boxes for a maritime actor. I got to have an action scene. I got to have a fight scene with
I can't wait to see this
with
now.
Ricky. I got to improvise, and I got to sort of change lines with the guys, and so I was there all morning. And then my uncle from Dartmouth picked me up at the Farm of Choice across the street, like I was going to
Of
school.
course.
Yeah, so it was. Thanks, Bobby, for that, by the way. But it was a lot of fun. It was.
what family's for, though.
It was great. Everyone was super sweet. They're nothing like their characters on television, even though they're always in character,
Right.
even on talk shows.
Yeah.
Was
the
it what you
director was great.
expected as far as the experience goes?
Not really.
No?
When I got the job, well, I did the audition.
Okay.
And because they found me like rotting away in the performers union database, and
okay.
they said, "Oh, this
You were
guy
the only
might."
one available at the time.
I was
looks
the
hungry.
only person available.
hungry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so I auditioned for it, read for it, sent in a self-tape. Didn't hear anything for like 2 weeks, so you don't think you got it. And then finally, my agent called. I was again having a bowl of very good soup at
Of course,
O'Donoghue's in
obviously.
Chatham, and go there today. And anyway, this is just an ad for O'Donoghue's at this point.
Obviously.
But so I was there, and she said they want to cast you. And then another like 2 weeks goes by, and all the negative thoughts going through
They
my
changed
mind.
their minds.
Yeah,
and
they
go,
changed their
yeah.
mind. I
I
was
heard
recast.
that.
I lived
Yeah,
too
yeah.
far away.
Yeah.
My hair isn't high enough.
Right, yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. I don't know what it was. But so finally, they got back to me. They're like, "You film next week, and bring this for wardrobe." And so I didn't show up naked on
No,
set. I
no,
brought
no.
clothes.
Thank you.
You had to
that
do
they-
your own
yeah.
hair,
Not that
makeup,
anyone
and-
would think that. I'm not
I'm
sure
not
why I
sure
said
where
that.
that went, but
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. They're like, bring clothes with you. I said, well, yeah, check. I'm going to do that. Obviously, I'm going to bring clothes.
I'm good.
But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that. And they had me wrap within 7 hours.
Wow.
Oh,
And
you're kidding.
yeah, no, it was good. It was a good little couple scenes that I have, and it's the dialogue's very
That's
funny.
exciting.
I know, I
That's
can't
so
wait.
exciting.
I can't wait.
That's
Yeah.
Not
just
for
it.
children though. It's not.
No,
It's not a show that
no,
you're going to
Trailer
want to
Park
watch.
Boys isn't for children.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Sounds
don't
like
think.
it is. No, but it's not at all.
I'm
No,
shocked. Yeah.
no. So tell us what's been going on since then. You've got still.
Yeah,
lots
so
going
I'm
on.
very, very busy. As I
Doing.
mentioned, I do a lot of parties and events and private shows over Christmas.
With
Was
your
very, very
comedic work.
Yeah, with my comedy work, which is everything's in quotes there. It's not really work when you're having so much fun. But the Christmas parties can be very difficult to do because no one's really showing up for a comedy show.
Right.
You know, where they're paying for they're paying $15 to $20 for a
Okay.
ticket. And they expect comedy. You're sort of appearing at somebody's show, so
You're an
they
addition
can.
kind of,
You're an
right?
addition, yeah.
Yeah.
You sort of exist, and all of a sudden everyone's like, okay, we got to pay attention to the comedian
Right.
now, and they're
Yeah.
eating their desserts and they're having their coffee. Well, their booze.
So you
they're-
find that that audience a little.
it's a
trickier.
little bit trickier to get their
Okay.
attention right off the top, so you can't
Okay.
really go into your regular bits, your regular set right away. You sort
Mm-hmm.
of have to get their attention. Luckily, I worked as a teacher years ago, so I would just turn the lights on and off
Yes,
as
yeah.
a supply
The teacher
teacher.
voice comes out. And
Exactly, yeah, I have a
I
meter
understand.
stick. So a lot of those, I did like 7 or 8 Christmas parties over the holiday season, all over the Maritimes. And I've done some ticketed shows in Fredericton. I was at there was a music festival. I can't even remember the name of it right now.
It'll
but
come to you.
in Fredericton, Shivering Songs Music Festival is a beautiful music festival that I can't remember the name of. I did that a few weeks ago, and I got some upcoming shows that I'm very excited about on the river here in the next couple months.
Well, I love the one that you were telling us about off air coming up in May, right?
Right, May 1st. So it was right out of a shot out of the dark. A wonderful lady from James M. Hill, a grade 12 student named
Yeah.
Sydney Gallant, reached out to me, and she's doing a project on PTSD awareness
Yeah.
and PTSD coping kits. And as an addition, she'd like to do a comedy show at the Logieville Community Center. There's a building in Logieville
Right.
Yes.
that's going to house
there
the
is.
population
Yes,
of Logieville,
that's right,
and we're
yeah.
going to do this show there, and all the proceeds will, of course, go to PTSD awareness.
Isn't that amazing?
It
That's
is. So it's for first
fantastic.
responders in Miramichi as well as military personnel. So I'm
Love it.
very happy to be a part of that.
Where do you get your inspiration for your?
I just do impressions of my father the entire
Fantastic.
30
yeah.
to 45
Thanks,
minutes.
Dad.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, basically. So I get a lot of inspiration from my family. Dad sometimes will write me jokes that occasionally
Oh, my.
You should
I
put
will
in your
use.
show.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. They're too risque for Rogers 10 at 1 o'clock, but no, they're corporate clean. But no, they're very.
Are they real dad jokes though?
They're not. No, they're just basically impersonations of my father.
Oh, good, okay.
And so a lot of that, a lot of family inspiration. Some material I gathered from being a teacher years ago and dealing with kids from kindergarten all the way to grade 12.
Yep.
So I think I just draw on very observational. So I just can sort of try to make a joke out of anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just because I would have this stress, but so I always does it stress you out though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
okay.
much.
Go to the
Very-
show.
this is hard right now for me.
No.
Talking about myself. Also, this looks like we're going to play a big game of Jenga
Jenga.
here in
I'm
a
okay
minute.
with that.
Yeah.
Later.
The largest
Later.
game of Jenga will be played here in 5 minutes. But yeah, it does stress you out. I mean, sometimes you will agree to do a show, and then it's not for I'm booked until October of this year, right?
Right.
October
Nice.
24th. So it is nice, but also sometimes something might happen that week or that day, which doesn't really.
You're not quite on.
Yeah, you're not quite on, and you don't feel like.
It's not just the material.
you
It's not
don't-
just the jokes.
Exactly. You might not feel very funny that
Yeah.
day. So everyone has to deal with those situations.
Yeah.
So but you sort of have to turn it off and turn
Have
it
you
on,
worked
and
yourself through it?
you just you learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes the new Maritime Beer helps as well.
Yeah, I
those
totally
guys will be on
understand
later.
that.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
especially since we're having them on this
Exactly.
right after
yeah.
you. So
I
yeah.
know.
Thanks for the water.
I know.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That's just it. So tell us a little bit more about what did you is there a comedian school? Is there where do you pull all your...
If there is, there's no way my parents would have paid $50,000 for me to go to Fredericton. No, I don't think it's something that you can learn. There's definitely techniques and stage techniques that I've learned. Different audiences, you learn like 5 minutes before. You're like, oh, it's going to be this type of audience. Oh, there's a really drunk person over there that has 3 bottles of wine. I'm going to have to deal with that. You definitely learn. Like any job, you work at it and you'll get better at it over time. But I don't think there's any real education that you can get that will really prepare you for being a performer.
Well,
I think just doing it and just going out there and doing it as often as you can, getting on stage as often as you can, and just perfecting that craft. And knowing that you're not going to get paid for 10 years. That's another.
Because that would stress me.
Yeah,
8 to 10 years. Yeah. I hope you like Fiddleheads, because that's how you're.
Entertainment field. That's
try paying a bill with a Fiddleheads as well.
But
It's
you also must need to get really good at feeding off the audience in front of you, right? Because it's never the same audience. Right?
Absolutely. And sometimes I'm in the mood to do some crowd work and sort of play around with the audience. And sometimes you just want to do your set jokes, and there might be a heckler in the crowd. My mother was actually my first heckler when I said, my parents are finally going to see what a 4-year degree paid for tonight in Halifax. And then she stood up and she said, 5-year degree.
She corrected you.
And then I melted and evaporated through an air vent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about your inspiration for comedians? Who did you watch? Who did you look up to?
Yeah, I think Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. So that was the first. I think so. A guy that I went to school with, I was best friends with in high school and elementary. He gives me a VHS tape, and he said, "Just lock yourself in your bedroom." And it was a comedy tape, by the way. It sounds like something.
Thank you for the specification on that one.
Exactly, yeah. So this was a comedy tape that I was going to watch, and it was Eddie Murphy Delirious.
Oh yeah.
And when he's in the leather red one-piece jumpsuit. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And he talks a lot about his father as well. So he does impersonations of his father. So I just said, well, I'm just going to rip that off. Right. I'm just going to copy that.
It's working for him, so I'm going to
not
take
his
that.
jokes, but that sort of idea that was a complete inspiration from Eddie Murphy. Richard Pryor, George Carlin.
Classics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does your dad ever get offended?
All the time, yeah, of course. Right. No, he loves to be. I'd like to think that he likes to be part of the show. Yeah. So I think he's been very, very supportive. He drove me to a very important audition the other day. It was a second audition for a new TV show in Halifax. And they needed me there in person. And my wheel is, I think, falling off my car right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. The only thing that works in my car, I think, right now are the mirrors, and the check engine light works. So that
because it's on.
It's on. So I just pull over and I just make sure the engine is still in the car every day.
Yeah.
And so I said, and they needed me there like the next day. It was 2 days, and I was like out of the budget to like put $1,400 to work in the car. And so Dad's like, I'll take you down, no problem at all. I was like, okay, well, let's go. So it was like, we should have filmed the entire day.
I was going to say, that would be new material, the car ride alone.
Yeah. We went to a McDonald's, I'm not going to tell you where, somewhere in Truro, and I said, how is everything cold? And he said, listen, you didn't get out of here. But it was a lot of fun. It was very sweet of him to do that, and I really appreciated that. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. So you got your mother heckling you and your dad driving you around.
Dad's driving me around, chauffeur. He got him a little hat now, a little driver's cap.
As he should.
Yeah, and Mom's heckling me in the back. So no, I'm very thankful that they're supportive.
They must be quite proud though, because just to see all of the things and I mean it's really hard work. People don't see they see you getting to do an episode of Trailer Park Boys, but they don't see the.
Well, they see all my neurotic states in between,
exactly.
like auditions and that. So they really see the behind the scenes, right? Yeah. So it's most people when the Trailer Park Boys show comes out, it'll look great. You'll see the end product, but to get there, it was a struggle and still is. I mean, it's very difficult line of work to get your foot in the door. I didn't have any connections.
Of course.
And my dad's like, I think I can get you on at Schulten's, but
different show altogether.
You can mop the floor. Yeah. I was like, okay, but I never really had any connections, so I had to work at it and build those relationships And so it's a hard industry to get into. It's even harder to stay relevant in. So hopefully I'll be able to continue to do that, at least in the Maritimes.
What's your biggest piece of advice for someone that's sitting out there watching our show
Who thinks
thinking,
they want to be
yeah,
a comedian.
that, I think I want to do that.
Go into welding or the trades. No.
So anything other
Pick
than
up a
this.
trade.
Yeah.
No.
As well.
What I would say, and this is honest, anything you do, anything you decide to do in life, whether it's your professional career or personal stuff, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Because if you're doing it for if you're getting into the performance arts, there's never going to be a shortage of people that want to be on TV.
Right. Like us.
Like me today.
Yeah.
But there's never going to be a shortage of people. You're never going to see job postings for us. So you have to create your own opportunities and set your expectations, manage your expectations. Because if you're getting into something because you want to be on The Tonight Show in 6 months, you're going to be very quickly disappointed. So that's what I would tell young performers that are looking to. And people reach out to me all the time for advice and stuff like that. And I'm like, you want advice from me?
I'm afraid.
The mirrors don't even work in my car.
Yeah, really.
But
that's the only thing that works.
Things are going very, very well now. But I'm at this for 7 or 8 years.
Right,
So
exactly.
it's been a while.
It's not something that
People don't
happens
see
overnight.
that back part, the tough
No.
part.
They see the end product
Yeah.
if you're lucky
Yeah.
enough to get an end product.
Right,
And
yeah.
so it's but getting into things for the right reason is vital.
Well, we really want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank
And
you for
we
having
love
me.
we love when you come to visit, and we wish you much success
Well, thank you
in
very
all
much.
that's to come. And it's great to hear that you're actually booked up for quite some time. We love to
Yeah.
hear that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and so when the episode actually does air of Trailer Park Boys, we want to make sure that everybody
definitely
watches
watches
it.
it.
For sure.
And catch any of the shows that Jimmy's going to be in the next little while. Don't go too far. We want to thank Jimmy for joining us, but don't go too far. We'll be right back right after break. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and of course with my wonderful co-host, Audrey Lynch. And Judy was a little busy today, so she wasn't able to join us, but she'll be back next week. And we are joined by two very entrepreneurial young gentlemen here in the region, Matt Hutt and Adam Lordon. Welcome, and thank you for coming.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for having us, ladies.
And of course, Adam has been on our show so many times. He's a wonderful friend of the show, and usually we do call you Mayor Lordon, but today we're going to hang a little bit more casual.
Yeah, different hat today.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And by the way, thanks for calling us young.
Hey, giddy up.
It's off to a good start.
Yeah, really. Listen, I'll get it in wherever I can. Okay. So welcome, gentlemen, and you're both here to talk to us about the new Maritime Beer Company, which we are so excited. I haven't quite made it to the tap room yet, but I have been tasting your beer, so I'm really excited to have you both on. But before we get started and get launched into all that, Matt, tell us a little bit about you so that people at home can get to know you.
Sure. So I grew up in Miramichi. I was military, so I moved around a little bit until I was 8, but I've been here since I was 8.
Oh,
so
wow.
CFB Chatham and to Tankville,
Yes.
and then been here since, with minus some stops for school. I'm a chiropractor as my other job, and one of the owners of Peak Performance. And I got a wife and an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, so
Busy.
I stay
Busy.
Busy.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Adam.
Yes. Well, I have none of those things.
Yes.
But I
A
have
whole host of other things.
Yes, I do have another job, of course.
Yes.
As the mayor of
Yes.
the city, and I think I've been on and talked before too. My previous day career, which I still dabble in, is of course as a TV and media producer and director as well. And Matt and I actually, and our other third co-owner, Brent Garish, who's also an entrepreneur with another business.
Yes.
The three of us actually grew up together. We met when we were, about 10 years old playing hockey and
B.
went to school together. Yeah.
Right from the beginning.
None of us well.
No,
but,
yeah.
Wait, fun.
That's okay.
Yeah,
We don't
nobody's
talk about
wearing
that.
any NHL
Yeah.
jerseys or anything
that
like that
wasn't
today,
the
but that's
future,
okay.
but, yeah. So it's great
Yeah.
to be back with you guys, and we've been really excited. We've been working, as you know, and Vera, you both know, when you're starting a business, there's a lot of work, years of work, in
Yes.
fact, before the doors open. So it's been a pretty exciting last couple of years to get to this point for us with the new Maritime Beer Company.
Yeah,
How
so
did you decide
how
that
did-
this
yeah.
is what you were doing? Like, where did that come
where
from?
did the idea?
I think ultimately we wanted a place that we wanted to hang out.
Makes sense.
Because it's a place
Okay.
that I think all of us individually seek out in other cities. When we
Yeah.
go to town, it's one of the first places I know I go, and I think Adam and Brenda the same,
Yeah.
is look for the craft breweries. And so, got tired of waiting for somebody else to do it, and I think had discussions that ultimately if someone else did do it, we would be kicking ourselves that it wasn't us.
Yeah.
So
Well, you guys know, like, and you have that entrepreneurial mindset. You kind of see the world through that lens of where are the opportunities and where could I maybe find an opportunity and take advantage of it. And like Matt said, we had all found our way back to Miramichi over the last few years from living and working elsewhere. And you see craft breweries popping up all across New Brunswick. There at the time, one had just opened in Bathurst, the second one was going to be opening, and both of those breweries, 4 Rivers and 13 Barrels, were wonderfully supportive to us as we went through it. But we just saw the opportunity, we wanted it, and actually literally at a Christmas party, like all good ideas, in my kitchen.
Of course, obviously.
With 3 Christmases ago, so just over 2 years ago, we all sort of said, hey, I had this idea. And Matt sort of said, oh, I kind of was thinking about that too. And Brent said the same thing. And we said, all right, well, in the new year, let's sit down and chat about it. And off we went.
Wow. So how'd you come up with the name?
Well, the name discussion was a months long discussion, and we had so many brilliant ideas that you get when you get into the rubber hitting the road on these business things. Well, you can't use that name because somebody else has one too similar, or you can't use that because 5 years ago somebody had a business called that in a totally different sector, but nonetheless. So after months and a few that we really liked that we couldn't use, I thought this was the perfect sort of brand name and positioning, and the logo as well with the boat, because it sort of marries the best of the Maritimes, that laid back coastal vibe that everybody here loves, and that's part of who we are. But also we wanted to let people know that we'd be presenting it in a new way. So a contemporary. We've said the theme is sort of like a modern coastal, so new maritime. And even the boat logo, it reads very fresh and contemporary, but it also reads nostalgic. We've had older folks come in and say, this reminds me of the paper boats we used to play with when we were kids.
And that's actually what the first thing I thought of when I saw it. So yeah, I can see that.
So it was kind of combining the past and the future, and all in one name in one place. And we hope the businesses, we're launching it here in Miramichi over the next few months. We'll be launching the beer in cans and on taps around the province, and then hopefully beyond that in the years to come. So we needed a name that would work in Miramichi, but also around New Brunswick and around, ultimately, hopefully, Canada and the world.
Giddy up.
So when you sat down to start looking at what it was going to take to get this type of business, a brewery and a tap room, off the ground, was it a lot of work, or was it going to be?
It's definitely a lot of work.
Okay.
So you bother a lot of people and send a lot of emails and read as much as you can to try to learn from people that have had the experience, and then you try to figure out. Well, I think our biggest challenge is finding a building that would work.
Yeah,
Oh,
it did
okay.
take you guys
It
a
took
while, right?
Yeah.
We looked
Location,
at really
right?
Probably zoned in on 4 or 5 before we finally found one that works, just because
Yeah.
we wanted to repurpose an old building, obviously, and bring something like that back, but you have to have, for us, was 16 feet ceiling, so that immediately
Oh,
eliminates.
yeah, it's not just any type of business.
Yeah, it immediately
Because you're
eliminates
brewing
most places, right?
right on site.
Because we're brewing big tanks on site, so I think ultimately we ended up in a great spot.
Yeah, you have that list of needs that you technically need for the business, and then the wants, the things that you'd like to have. So we knew we wanted to try to be in one of the 2 downtowns,
Right.
just because we're downtown guys. We like that lifestyle. We like to help with the renewal of one of the downtowns, but then you have to have the ceiling. You have to have so many parking spots, and the list goes on and on. So. We were close on a couple of other ones, but I think we ended up in the right spot, and we've been really excited about it.
Were you surprised by how much it was going to take to get you guys to where you are right now? Like, were you surprised by having? Because I'll just from my own experience when I opened my own business, like I learned more about jack posts than I ever thought I would, and support beams, and than I ever thought I would want to know. And like now I can't even look at a jack post without starting to measure.
No.
But I'm like,
Just the paperwork alone to fill out to get a name.
like, were you surprised by all that? Well, I know you guys all had your own businesses already, but.
I think we were different. Like my business, being in film, it's so different, right? Like I'm basically just a freelancer, so I don't have the physical infrastructure or all the work. I'd say yes and no. Like, I mean, we knew that there'd be a lot. Maybe we didn't know the particulars, but I think the key for me, and probably for the other guys too, Matt can speak to it, has been the partnership, the team. Because I don't think I would have ever, I know I wouldn't have ever taken something like this on alone.
Right.
But to know that I had 2 business partners that were also buddies that I've known for a very long time. I know that they're successful in their own careers. They're motivated. They're driven. And Brent, not Matt and I, does know a lot about all that handy stuff too. So we did ultimately have complementary
A little bit
skill
of balance
sets.
there, yeah.
Brent's definitely the fixer guy.
Oh, good.
And I
Okay.
know
So the three of you
he's
together
gonna be,
complete.
He's out of the country right now, but he's going to watch us later. And
Okay.
I needed to
He's
say
gonna
that because
critique you guys.
we wouldn't want to give any impressions that we're handy.
No, understandable.
Brent
Yes.
took a much needed break from all the
Yeah, yeah.
time. He's been pretty much living at the brewery for the past 4 or 5 months. So.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
So
good.
you guys are about to start brewing on site now.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
really excited. And,
excited.
you know, Audrey, you've been in, and so
Yes.
we have some of our own beer that we brewed, our brewer made on a contract up at Four Rivers Brewery in Bathurst.
Right.
So when you come into the tap room now at 55 Newcastle Boulevard,
Yes.
you can try 3 of our different beers. We have our IPA, Citra IPA, which is a really nice citrus-forward, mild hoppiness IPA. It's sort of a great, easy drinking IPA for everybody. It's super
And you
popular.
launched with that one, eh?
That one we
Yeah.
launched
Yeah.
in the summer, and it's had great reviews. And we also have our pale ale and a stout on tap as well. But we're going to be brewing at the end of next week. We'll start our first batches that we'll make on site. So that's really exciting for us because that means we'll have more different types of
Yeah.
beer. We've been getting a lot of requests for a light beer, so we're going to have a beer called New Maritime Light. It's a session IPA that's meant to be for the Coors Light,
I'm the light
Budweiser
girl.
drinkers.
Yeah.
So you're going to
Yeah.
love that
I
one,
did try
Audrey.
all the different beers you had that evening. And not that they were not good, but people were loving it. The place was packed when I was there. I couldn't even get a parking spot when I first pulled in. Pretty sure I parked illegally, but I wanted to get in there. And so yeah, that was my take, was to have something a little bit lighter kind of thing. But you did have other options because there's wine as well.
Yeah, and that light beer is coming. We're really excited. We're going to have a juicy IPA. And in the summer, we're working now on a couple of recipes for rattlers. People love
Oh, neat.
Yes.
the rattlers in the summer.
Especially the
but
summertime.
We do have a wine, and we've partnered, or in the short term, we've got some little snacks that we've brought in from Dooryard Company,
Yeah.
which is another great local company
Yeah.
right on the square from other young entrepreneurs, and really supporting other local businesses. And all the other beer on tap are from New Brunswick breweries that have helped us along the way. So we're really
Wonderful.
focused on supporting local and supporting other entrepreneurs as well.
And so the tap room has been doing well because every second person that I know has got pictures posted on social media, so it's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, we have to let everybody know we were there.
Yeah, well, of course.
Because it
obviously.
didn't really happen.
Yeah, if it's not
didn't
posted, it
mess
didn't happen. But you've got some events coming up too, though, which
Yeah.
I think really neat. So you've got a trivia night coming up this week,
We have a trivia night on Wednesday with Patty and Darcy,
of course.
and we have a paint night fundraiser on Thursday.
I seen that.
for the
I've seen
AAA
that as
River
well.
Sharks.
Oh, cool.
And you have board games now all set up there, so you can.
All kinds of board games.
Yeah, we really. Oh, Matt. We started with
It's
a few,
growing.
and more people have been bringing
Right.
them in. They're messaging us and dropping off their board games, which is great.
Yeah.
The more the
Yeah.
merrier. It's been really popular, and I think for us, the vision with the tap room is to try to offer something different than what we've had in Miramichi. So, almost a coffee shop vibe during the day. So you can come in. People come in with their laptops, or they come in to play board
true.
games. People come in with their families even, which is great for us. And then in the evenings, absolutely on the weekends, especially Audrey,
Yeah.
it turns into certainly more of a bar vibe, but something that's still unique to the region. So,
Definitely.
and we're excited in the summer. We're going to have a nice big patio. The
Ooh.
garage doors in the front will open, so you can kind of go in and out. And
I was wondering what you were going to do with those. I noticed that.
Yeah.
That's.
I love the
I like
idea.
the tap room for the uniqueness of the garage doors that are there. I really do. I think it's something that's going to set you guys apart.
well, it was a Speedy Auto Glass actually, and
That's
that
right.
tap room is the exact footprint of the Speedy, including the garage doors. So we kept
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the character of the building. The benches that we have in the tap room actually came down from the old courthouse
Oh, neat. Okay.
up the road.
Yep.
The gentleman is turning those
Yes.
into condos,
Yeah.
and he was giving me a tour one day, and all the benches were sitting in the lobby, and I said, "This is beautiful. You've done a great job. And by the way, what's
Yeah,
happening
really.
with these benches?"
Can I take those home with me?
Are you throwing those away?
Yeah.
So we'll find a home, but we really, want to honor the community and have different events and activities, something for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome, and it's been phenomenal the response we've been getting.
Well, and you also have some apparel and some other items that you have for sale, I'm assuming.
Yes, Matt and I are
Yeah, we've got.
modeling the shirts
Yes,
here.
we are.
Exactly. We're also models as our third job.
Yes. In your spare time.
Yeah, in all the spare time we have.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got shirts and tanks and hats and hoodies and glasses and all kinds of stuff.
Very
We're
cool.
moving pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been really great too, and because we've, as you know, in the community, it's important to give back. So it gives us the opportunity with the T-shirts and the glasses and everything to. We get a lot of requests from local charities for silent auctions and things, and we're always happy to support those great causes in the community too. But there's something different for people every time they come in. That's the hope and the goal, and also to look ahead to getting the beer around in Miramichi now. We every day now, it seems. We got another one before we came on air from Miramichi across New Brunswick, people looking to bring the beer in and get it on tap. So
Well,
Yeah, I noticed that on the
part of the
weekend.
business, then.
Yeah, you're on tap in St. John now.
yes.
Yeah, we're at the Cask and Kettle in St.
Cool.
John, which is a great bar.
Yeah, you're not just supplying beer for your own business, but that's the goal is to,
Yeah, no, I mean,
to have other
ultimately,
places.
I think the majority of the business is essentially a production brewery. The tap room is
exactly.
certainly we want to have a great home base, so to speak, but to really grow the business, the production side of things is just starting to come online, so that's where there's a lot more excitement, not more, but a lot of additional excitement coming on with.
And your hours of operation are a little different than a regular kind of, so what is it? Is it every day from 3 to 11 or?
Well, right
I'm trying
now
to remember.
we're on what we would call winter hours.
Yes.
Winter hours.
We're not open Mondays actually, but basically Tuesday to Friday it's from 4 to 9 or 10.
Okay.
And then Fridays we go 3 to 11, so a longer day, and Saturdays 1 to 11, and Sundays just for the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
But we really want to make a note too, because we get a lot of people asking, and that will change because once the brewery is up and making beer, then we'll probably be extending the hours because we'll also get the license in about a month or two to allow people to buy the beer to go. So then you'll be able to come in and fill your growlers and take them on your way, and also the cans. So we'll basically have in the lobby where we have all the merchandise now, it'll also become basically a mini new Maritime beer store. So you can come and grab the cans to go and grab the growlers of our beer and other people's beer. So once that happens, which we think will be in another 6 to 8 weeks, then the hours, and with the summer as well, we'll really be extending the hours in the patio. So
In the patio.
it'll likely be a lot longer, probably basically lunch to later every day once we get into the summer season.
Now, is this a beer that I'll be able to walk into the liquor store and buy? Is that a goal as well?
Yeah, so
Nice.
the way that the licensing works is actually a little backwards.
Okay.
Because we'll be able to be sold in the liquor stores before we can actually sell out of our own store.
Oh,
So-
okay.
What now?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's as confusing as it sounds. So, but then probably with the same timeline, 6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah.
we'll be able to be on the shelves of ANBL. So
That's awesome.
hopefully we'll
Wow.
be on most stores. It's kind of up to us to push our product and see where we can get it, but we're gonna try to hope to be province-wide.
And certainly locally here, we anticipate having the Citra IPA. It's called the Rising Tides Citra IPA, along with the New Maritime Light and our Juicy IPA, which we've called the Very Best IPA.
course.
Of course.
And we hope all those products will be in cans in the
Yeah.
local liquor stores here before Victoria Day weekend. So we're really excited about that.
Do you have any, the brewery itself, what how much beer can it produce in, like,
A lot.
I was gonna say, because
Just a
I feel like you're going to be bombarded with a lot of sales and a lot of people looking to carry your product.
From your lips to God's ears, you're saying, right?
We hope so.
That's what they're going with.
I'm like,
We can
the goal
brew
is to be able to.
4,000 liters a day
Perfect.
A day.
at a max.
4,000
Yeah, right.
liters a day.
Right.
Yeah.
We won't be,
Right.
hopefully we get to that point, but out of the gate we certainly won't.
Like next week,
Yes.
you're not going to be brewing
No.
4,000 liters.
But if we,
Well, I hate
Yeah,
to cut
but-
you off, but we're all
Yeah.
done.
Oh,
So we want
wow.
to thank them for joining us today, and please do check out the tap room. I'm heading there this weekend for sure. But join us next Monday back here on the set. We'll have some more great guests, and thank you both to Matt and to Adam for sharing their incredible new company. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much.
Bye.